Hi, my name's Amy, and I'm here to talk to you tonight about how the design of your community can impact your choice in health. This is based off of research I did in Charleston, South Carolina, where 11 people got together and they studied the community a mile around where kids walked. These two communities called Burns and Chicora. So this is relevant to Florida because of the health disparity that exists. We are actually only ranked 33rd in the nation for status of health, and we're ranked 48th for lack of health insurance and geographic disparity. So this is very relevant to Florida, although I did it in South Carolina. So the first thing that we did is we went out and we interviewed key informants in the community. And like Shrek said, ogres are like onions. There are lots of layers to any issue. So that wasn't the only thing we did. So I'm going to go into that more often. But those key informants said we need better access to health care. We need better streets and sidewalks. We need access to playgrounds so our kids can play. And we asked them what resources did disadvantaged people need to promote wellness. And those were some of the things that they said. We need safe streets so we can go exercise. And we need access to fruits and vegetables and food at a decent cost. So the second question that we asked them was, if you were to take a picture of something that promotes wellness in the neighborhood, what would it be? And they said, well, access to things like dental vans that come and bring health to the community, and bus routes. So we have public transportation and we can get places, and crosswalks so we can cross the street and be safe. The third picture or question we asked is, if you were to take a picture of something that promotes illness in the neighborhood, what would it be? And they said trash. And the ill, the sick, the homeless that don't have a place to go, they don't have shelters to provide for them, and usurious lenders who take advantage of the misfortune of others. So the second thing we did is we went on active neighborhood walks. So we walked a mile around each school, the path that a school child would take, and we took pictures and did an urban planning survey of those neighborhoods, and sort of gathered what we found and grouped them into two groups, either inducers of health or inhibitors of health. And we found that some of the inducers of health are things in your community like access to playgrounds where kids can play after school, and crosswalks where people can walk across roads without feeling like they're going to be hit by cars, or handicap, parking and access to schools and community buildings and the such. We found that things that inhibited health were things like where sidewalks weren't maintained, people with wheelchairs or kids on their bike couldn't really use them, or streets that were a quarter mile from a school that didn't have speed limit signs where cars raced 60 miles per hour, or a school crosswalk where it actually was behind where the school started. So urban design matters because people that live in more walkable neighborhoods actually are shown to have more activity and lower body weights. So where you live can impact your actual BMI, and very much can make a big impact on your health. So people that live in hazardous neighborhoods are more likely to be obese. The access of one grocery store can actually reduce your body fat percentage by about 10%. And that's been shown over national and geographic data. So a food desert is an area where there is over 100 acres without food to it. And that's what we found on our store observations. When we walked around those neighborhoods, we found that there was actually 100 acres without a grocery store. People actually had to take taxis or buses over 5 miles away to get food. So there were only 13 stores in the area where they could buy food, and that was primarily a place where it was cheaper to buy malt liquor than it was to buy soda. So the access to things in that community, they were presenting things that increased violence in the community and caused some problems. This happened to be the 8th most violent city in the United States. We also found in the stores that only 38% of them offered fresh foods, while the majority of the shelf space was designated for alcohol or for soda. And one of the shopkeepers said that, well, this is what people are demand, but I counteract that because it's actually been shown, and marketing statistics prove that what you put out on the shelves actually increases the demand for that. So 1 share of shelf space can equal 1 share of sales. So when you walk into a store, the way things are displayed are impacting your choices. And I want you to recognize and know that. We also have found through research that if you double the shelf space of the produce section, you can increase the sales of that produce section. And if you cut prices of something, you can increase the sales of that cost. So I very much counteract that shopkeeper's demand that by ethically providing fresh fruits and vegetables to a community or a neighborhood, you can impact the health and the quality of anyone. So yes, a grocery store can make you thinner. So this is Fat David, who the German Olympic Sport Federation actually put up in Cologne. So it's true. So what did we do with all this research after we gathered it? As Yoda said, to do or do not, there is no try. So we went back and we brought the statistics and the data and all the boring stuff to the community. We presented to the mayor. We talked everyone's ear off. And that's what research is supposed to do. So that's called community-based research, where you give back to the community through it. So the impact was the mayor took the statistics. He wrote for several grants. They broke ground. They're building a grocery store in North Charleston. And that's going to impact the lives of everyone there. And I don't mean to say that the 11 of us that did this had the great response for that, but it was the mayor being able to take that quantified data and give that out. So what I want to leave you with is that you do have a choice to live consciously, that your actions are influenced by other people, that there are things like research where you can collaboratively work with people to advocate for the communities you live in, and if you have the ability to choose the community you live in, then make sure you choose wisely.